What's up guys, Sean here, and in this video I'm going to be reviewing the Sharp by Designs Mini Tempest. But first, let me show you what I'm carrying today. This is the SPYDERCO Swish buoy, designed by Martin Swish, which is actually spelled like sleaze, but you know, hey, it's pronounced swish, so don't be calling the man a sleaze. We have a belt satin finish, M390 Blade. This one is manufactured and produced in the Taichung, Taiwan factory, which has a reputation for building some of the most the top quality Spydercos. All of the premium high-end Spydercos, the fancy stuff, that is all manufactured at Taiwan. Well, all of it that I know of at least, and I'm a pretty big Spyderco fan, so yeah, awesome knife. And my secondary carry today is the Kaiser Towser K. I believe that's what it's called. Yeah, Towser K. This is in CPM or 154 cm blade steel, and I actually just sharpened this sucker today, and boy, this thing is a laser beam now. I sharpened it at 17 degrees per side on my KME. Started with the 100 grit diamond plate, Gold Series diamond plate, then went to 140, 300, and then finally 600 before I pulled it off to strop it on basswood with 6 micron gunny juice, and then I may have done a couple passes on 3 micron. But my goal with this was not to polish the edge or get a mirror edge. I wanted the sharpest, nastiest, most aggressive yet still super keen edge that I could possibly put on this blade, just for the hell of it. So that's something I've been kind of doing lately with some of my personal knives. I've been testing out different finishes. I've done that in the past, but not since I have really gotten really good with sharpening. So it'd be interesting to see if any of my theories and opinions change as far as that goes. But this is an amazing knife right here, and the full review will be dropping anytime. I have the review for this knife already done and ready to go. Only thing left to do is film, so that will be coming up ASAP. Now, for this bad boy right here, this is the final knife out of the 4 knives that Eugene sent me to sharpen and review. I sharpened this on my KME, put a 17 degree per side edge on it, starting at 100 grit KME Gold Series Diamond, all the way through the 1500 grit, and then moved on to my 10 and 5 micron Columbia Gorge Stoneworks resin bonded diamond stones, and then moved on to some 3 and 1 micron gunny juice on basswood. Absolutely beautiful knife. And yeah, so let's get into it. Quick couple things I'll point out. We have a DLC coated blade. We have a beautiful fuller. We have an awesome, my favorite type of jimping, nice and spaced out, not too aggressive, and it's not even spaced out too far. This is like perfect, and it's actually squared off edges, which is really cool because it makes it look like a M-LOK rail or a Picatinny rail. So super cool. Plus the fuller just looks gorgeous. I am definitely a sucker for fullers. The lack of hardware is absolutely gorgeous. Gives this knife a very unique and clean look to it. It looks clean, classy, yet still aggressive and modern, and it's a whole lot of things. But I really enjoy the look of this knife. We have beautiful carbon fiber inlays on the scales, milled titanium pocket clip. We have a steel lock bar insert, and I believe, yes, there is an over travel stop, which is actually this carbon fiber inlay. There is a cutout or a portion of it that overlaps the lock bar, so I guess technically this is a subframe lock. I was thinking that it was a liner lock this whole time. It disengages super easy like a liner lock, so that's one thing to note. Flip it over to this side. Beautiful carbon fiber inlay, just a standard carbon weave type of pattern, and it feels pretty much seamless. You cannot feel the seams at all, not even a little bit. We have coated titanium scales. We have some proprietary hardware, and I do not know what this bit or the screw type is called, or the bit for it. If I had to guess, I would imagine it is some type of spanner bit, but I couldn't tell you what size, so not really sure about that. Let's take a look at this blade. We have a nice good bit of clearance from the plunge grind, the plunge line, plunge grind to the beginning of the edge, so you don't have to worry about that. However, I definitely recommend still protecting it by wrapping a zip tie around here, and that will protect you from going past where you want to with the stone and scratching up any of this beautiful black coating, whether it's Cerakote or DLC. I'm not exactly sure, but amazing, beautiful knife. Now let's get into the grading. I'm sure you guys are ready for that by now. So for the ergonomics, we score a perfect 5 out of 5. Just the right amount of handle, has a couple millimeters to spare. Nice, fairly neutral feeling grip, yet it still directs your fingers into place up here as far as your index finger and your middle finger goes, and the palm of it, or the back of it, kind of swells a little bit to help fill your palm a little bit, because this is a more narrow knife, so that gives it a really nice feel. Like I said, perfect size, and you have a good bit of blade length, and a good bit of cutting edge. I mean, look at the ratios here. The blade to handle ratio looks damn near perfect, perfectly even. I really like seeing that, and I also like that they gave you a ton of cutting edge, and didn't really waste any of the blade. So yes, moving on to the clip. Clip gets a perfect 5 out of 5. We have a milled titanium clip. It goes in and out of pocket fairly easy. Good retention. Doesn't get really caught up or snagged. I like the clip. It's also nice and solid. Not really any type of flex to it. I mean, I can get just the slightest amount of flex, maybe like 1/1000th of an inch in either direction, but it is plenty solid. Not going to cause, I don't foresee any possible issues. So moving on to the carry. Carry gets a perfect 5 out of 5. This knife is a joy to carry, because when it's closed up, we have a nice slim profile, and we also have nice smooth rounded construction on the outside. Not really any sharp edges. Even the edge of this front flipper is rounded off right here, so yeah, very comfortable. For the action, this scores a perfect 5 out of 5. I'm pretty sure I've told you guys before, I am not the biggest fan of front flippers, but this one, I absolutely love it. Because they brought the front flipper out so far past the pivot, gives you the perfect leverage to make it quite effortless to flick this open to the point where I can do it with my knuckle. But when you do it with your thumb, very easy. Just be careful that you don't have the palm of your hand covering up that area right there, or the tip of the knife will get you. Not only that, but it has a beautiful fuller which allows you to reverse flick it, or reverse flick, spidey flick, middle finger flick, whatever you want to call it. Effortless. We have a very well-tuned detent in my opinion. It is far from a strong detent, but it is plenty strong enough. Definitely don't consider it weak. If it was any stiffer or stronger, it may make this a little bit uncomfortable to use, but I think they gave it just the right amount of detent. So, awesome action. The closing is beautiful. Now, it's not a guillotine. It will not just completely fall on its own and lop your fingers off, but it is just the most gentlest shake and it drops. Nice, smooth, hydraulic, controlled action. Very, very smooth. Very addicting. Moving on to the hardware, I give it a 4.5 out of 5, which typically I wouldn't do on a knife that uses proprietary hardware, because I'm not a fan of companies kind of keeping you out of the knife. However, they still scored a very high score, because look at this. It is the lack of hardware that is actually very impressive and very appealing. We have nothing on this side besides this special type of pivot. I believe it may be some type of spanner that can undo that. Then we have a T8 for the clip, just one screw, and a T8 for the lock bar insert, and that is also a T8, I believe. So, awesome job on the hardware. Very clean aesthetic, thanks to their hardware choice and their construction design of this knife. And then moving on, for the aesthetic, perfect 5 out of 5. I think this knife sort of speaks for itself here. I mean, just take a look at this thing. Everything about it is attractive. Moving on, for the price of this knife, I give it a 4 out of 5. This knife comes in at $375, I believe. And yes, that is a very high price, but this knife is built to a very high standard. Very, very nice, tight tolerances, tight fitment, to the point where you don't feel any type of moving on, for the fit and finish, perfect 5 out of 5. The acoustics, I gave it a 5 out of 5 because it has a unique sound. I like it. It's kind of like a snappy sound. something between a snap and a click and a clock. So maybe you could say it's like a snap, slop, clop, I don't know, quack, whack, the whack. Kind of a combination of all those. So I really enjoy it. Lock bar access, 5 out of 5. Now we don't have a ton of space. However, you do have a little bit of a relief, and it is slightly raised in relation to the show side. So I find it very easy to disengage. But your finger will block this front flipper if you don't slide your pointer finger back a little bit. If you do, you won't have any issue. Lockup, 5 out of 5. Rock solid. I would definitely trust this not to lock my finger off. Looks like we have around 35% lockup. So nice solid lockup. Absolutely zero lock stick. Excellent job. And by the way, there's absolutely no play whatsoever in any direction. Rock solid. The factory edge got a 5 out of 5. It was very sharp. It wasn't sharpened at an excessively steep angle. Like I said, I believe it was about 25 degrees per side. So definitely good job with the factory edge. And it was actually fairly sharp. I was impressed. Not that it shouldn't be, but you know how things go these days. And for the blade, perfect 5 out of 5. I love the shape of it, the design of it, the grind of it, the fuller. I love what they did on the spine with the kind of Picatinny rail type of look with the jimping. I love how they did the swedge on the front. Everything about it. I like the clean, sterile look, and then just having their I guess their logo, Brian Nadeau, I believe. Sorry if I slaughtered that, but it's not just laser engraved or laser marked, burnt into it. It is actually white against a black coated blade, so that looks sick. I really like the look of that. Very pleasing. Does not bother me that it's there at all. The handle, perfect 5 out of 5 for all the reasons I've already explained. Very ergonomic, excellent design, smoothed edges all around. It does seem to be somewhat contoured. Not sure if it is or not. Beautiful carbon inlays, which are seamless. Yeah, I mean, they just did an amazing job with this. For the centering, perfect 5 out of 5. It is dead nut center. Absolutely perfect. And I've checked the centering periodically since this knife has been in my possession. And it has been centered every single time. I mean, you can't really get any wiggle on this blade. This thing is built solid. So yeah, very nice, very high quality. For cutting, I gave this a 4.5 out of 5. This is not the sliciest knife you've ever seen. However, it does cut really, really damn good. Actually, no. You know what? 5 out of 5. At the thickest point, just with my internal brain micrometer, I can tell you right now that this is not much over 100 thou thick at the spine. Maybe 110 thou, 110 thou behind the, well, not behind the edge, 100 to 110 thousandths at the spine. And then where you have the swedge here, the thickest point of your blade is right here, which would pretty much be the same as it is back here at the jimping. So, and I do believe it gets, it's not too thick behind the edge, probably around 20 thou, maybe a hair more shallow. Let's see, maybe 19, 18 thou behind the edge. And just so you know, I'm judging based off of all the knives that I sharpened that I know the behind the edge thickness, exact measurement, and the angle that I sharpened them at, and how wide the bevel is. So the thicker it is behind the edge, the wider the bevel will be at the same degree per side angle. So that's pretty much how I do that. For materials, perfect 5 out of 5. Top-notch materials, premium. I mean, it's gorgeous. Fidget factor, 5 out of 5. Typically, I would like, more than one means of deployment, because of the fuller, it gives you the ability to middle finger flick it. The action is just really, really good. It sounds good. It feels good in hand. So it really, looks amazing, which all really makes this knife quite addicting and very appealing. For the design, I gave it a 5 out of 5. I think I pretty much answered why this design deserves a 5 out of 5. And this video is already getting very long. So moving on to the last category, and value. And I scored this at a 4.5 out of 5. I think this, you're getting your money's worth at $375, in my opinion. You don't have to agree, but I honestly feel that way. So that brings us to a total score of 98 out of 100. Guys, that is insane. That is that's an A++. I mean, damn. Very impressive. So anyway, guys, hope you guys enjoyed this one as much as I did. And of course, I have to give one last big shout out and thank you to Eugene Krebs for sending me this, along with the ProTech SMG and the Penna X series front flipper and the Wii Mini Buster, which I sharpened all 4, and now I've officially reviewed all 4. So big thank you, Eugene. I appreciate your business, and I appreciate your support to the channel. And as far as the rest of you go, you guys know I love you and appreciate you. Jesus loves you. Thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned, and everybody have an amazing Easter, happy weekend, wonderful weekend, all that good stuff. Carry a knife, stay sharp, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace!